I know of people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars building a home and then slowly destroying it by planting all the wrong things. The destruction doesn't show itself instantly. It doesn't even show itself in 1 or 5 years. It might take 10, it might take 20. But soon you begin to notice cracked walls, windows that jam, doors that don't shut properly, rising damp, mould, and a ubiquitous smell within the house. Many people end up blaming the builder, but oftentimes it's not the builder's fault, it's your own fault, by doing your own landscaping and not doing your homework thoroughly before planting those trees, flowers and shrubs. Statistics prove that over 33% of all structural damage caused to a home is caused by the owners themselves and by misplanting trees, shrubs and flowers. Landscaping projects gone wrong. I'm going to show you 5 ways you could be destroying your home, your property and even your neighbour's property.
1. Invasive tree species. We all love trees. They allow us shelter and privacy, they add aesthetic beauty to our homes, but they can also be our worst enemies. The amount of long-term damage caused by trees to homes is staggering. Oftentimes maintenance bills can amount to tens of thousands of dollars and require the skills of engineers. All because 20 years ago you decided you wanted that tree planted in the backyard, and then broken sewer pipes, raised foundations, tree roots finding their way under foundations, and worse still, invading neighbours' properties. Who knew, huh? A good rule of thumb with most trees is to understand that beneath the ground, the roots grow to the same extent, if not more, as the canopy does. Some trees have taproots, some have invasive lateral roots. Roots exploit weaknesses like cracks, joints, and porous materials. They head for where water is available, like lawns, sewers, and drains. They can eventually cause structural damage that will end up costing you dearly. There are many species that should be avoided, but I am listing some of the most common varieties erroneously chosen by homeowners. These are willows, poplars, fig trees, camphor laurel, liquid ambar, and eucalyptus. Never plant these trees close to your home. It pays to do your homework before buying and planting any tree near your home. Some recommended tree varieties which are garden friendly are as follows. Crepe myrtle. This variety has non-invasive roots and great for small spaces. Ornamental pear, upright, growing with non-aggressive roots. Japanese maple, compact root system and ideal near structures. Citrus trees, shallow. Non-invasive roots, suitable near homes if drainage is good. Magnolia, little gem or teddy bear. Controlled growth, less disruptive roots versus large magnolia species. Olive trees, slow-growing roots. Drought-tolerant, less aggressive water-seeking lily-pilly, syzygium, select cultivars. Great for hedging, non-destructive root systems. 2. Chemical warfare allelopathy. Have you ever noticed patchy areas in the garden where nothing grows? Like a patch of lawn that just remains brown forever? Not many know about this one, but it is one of the most common errors people make in their gardens. Some trees and shrubs release biochemicals that suppress other plants. It's a self-defense mechanism. Certain plants have to deter competition for water and nutrients. Common effects are patchy lawns, poor germination rates, stunted nearby plants that refuse to grow and develop. There are many, but here is a quick list of common offenders. Sunflowers. Both roots and leaves contain compounds that inhibit germination of other seeds. Rhododendron restricts competing plant growth around base. Lantana inhibits other plant growth. Elderberry, although mild, it does have allelopathic effects. Eucalyptus produces toxins that inhibits germination of other plants. Black walnut produces juglone, a chemical that kills tomatoes, pines, azaleas, and a host of other plants. Black cherry releases toxins that have strong effects on seedlings, inhibiting growth. Cucumber produces allelochemicals from its roots. Casuarinas, she oaks. Needles and roots release toxins that can stunt nearby vegetation. Acacias, wattles. Certain species, such as Acacia longifolia, have leaf and root extracts that inhibit indigenous plant species. It is not uncommon to see flowering annuals and shrubs adorning the perimeter of a house. Homeowners believe a nice garden bed in front of the house is attractive and adds value to the home. My advice is, don't do it. Leave at least a metre, if not more, away from the walls of the house. Watering plants too close to the walls of the home causes excess water to run down into the home's foundation. At the least, over time you will notice rising damp in the home, mould appearing here and there, and a ubiquitous stagnant smell in the home that never goes away. That's the least of it. Over the long term, you can expect rotting in the foundations, the house sinking, causing sloping floorboards, cracks appearing in walls and ceilings. If that's not enough, you will find windows sticking and doors not opening and closing properly. It won't happen overnight, but slowly, exponentially, over several years. The longer you maintain high water needs plants around your home, the higher the risk of home structural failure. If you do want plants close to the home, then choose plants that are low maintenance and drought hardy, requiring less water. Excess water accumulates around footings and basement walls, which increases the lateral pressure against a given structure, more often than not, a home. The result of this is an eventual wall bowing or cracking, water ingress through joints and micro cracks, and eventual long-term structural fatigue. Hydrostatic pressure is invisible, but it's always working. You won't hear it. You won't see it. But over time, it will find the weakest point in your home and exploit it. Never plant too densely. This creates an eventual water basin that builds up over time in the weakest, shallowest point on your property. It becomes stored in the soil profile. Future structural risks include pooling, stagnant water, uneven driveways, warped pathways, and even sinkholes. Mitigate all this from the get-go by creating a buffer zone around your property. Plant high water needs plants like vegetable gardens, annual flowering beds, and water-needy trees well away from your home and its foundation. Plant low water needs plants closer to the home, avoiding plants with intrusive root systems. From both a plant health and building performance perspective, overhead watering is inefficient and often damaging. Overhead watering doesn't just hydrate plants, it creates the perfect transmission system for pathogens and spreads disease. Water droplets hit infected leaves, soil, pathogens such as fungi and bacteria are dislodged and aerosolized. Droplets splash onto neighboring plants. This is called splash dispersal. Common diseases that are spread this way include powdery mildew, leaf spot, blight, which is especially true for tomatoes, and rust diseases. Splashing water from overhead watering is also responsible for the breakdown of soil aggregates. This can cause a compacted top layer, reduced infiltration, and increased runoff. Your best bet, install a reliable drip system. Thank you for watching this video, and I truly hope you found it informative. I have some great future content coming up very soon, which I am sure you will love. Please subscribe so we can stay in touch. Bye for now, and healthy gardening.